tell a friend. I don't know why I just thought about that, but ooh, child, my jaw. So, I got TMJ, so I have issues with my jaw, but I also have a tooth that want to be out of pocket, so now I can get out of my socket. So, because I have TMJ, I've always had issues with grinding my teeth, and all of the teeth that I have lost in life weren't because I wasn't taking care of them. They were because, like, due to mechanical issues, and because I was grinding my teeth. Like, I've swallowed pieces of my teeth because, again, because my neck scoliosis, my jaw alignment is it's all connected, and so I have like swelling in the jaw over here. I mean, in my gum, and then my jaw is just, I mean, you can see it. This is not a normal jaw alignment. And I was actually looking at a panoramic X-ray of from when I went to the dentist. Like they said, so it's just like this that you can see. And I noticed that on this side, like the bone up here, it is eroded because my TMJ is so severe. So I have actually, it's been like 3 or 4 times, and especially when I've been under stress, which I don't stress about things, but when I was under a lot of stress, this has been like 10 years ago. It's probably been 10 years since this happened, but I have woken up before and my jaw has been locked, like clamped shut, because I was grinding my teeth so hard that my jaw, like, I could feel like muscle spasms that I was having over here. And so I've had to go to the emergency room before, like 2 or 3 times. And they had to give me like an IV. It wasn't even muscle relaxant. It was like almost something that they give you before surgery so they could pop my jaw open. And I know it's due to, my neck scoliosis, because mine is functional scoliosis, because in my lower back, my Bertolotti syndrome, that is something I was born with, and they call it a birth defect, but I am not defective. They call it a birth defect. And so it's something I was born with. And on one side, if it was bilateral, if it was on both sides, it wouldn't be a problem because it would be equal. But it's not. So my last lumbar vertebrae on one side, it forms an extra joint, and then it attaches to like your hip, your pelvis. And because it's something that you're born with, a lot of times it can cause problems later in life, like when you get to your like 30s, 40s. So basically where I'm at in life. And over time, it can cause you to have scoliosis. And cervical scoliosis, which is in the neck, is more rare than lumbar, or what's the other one? Lumbar, or what's the up top called? Thoracic. But mine is because at the bottom on the left side, it's attached. So it messes up your whole spine. And so that caused me to have scoliosis in my neck. And that caused me to have TMJ, so which is now like, you can see how it's not, like, this is a bulge. This isn't supposed to stick out like it does. Like, jaws aren't supposed to do this. Like, that's not, I showed my friend one time, she's like, bitch, I thought you was in The Walking Dead. I'm like, well, I can't help it. So, and here I am on here running my mouth. I should probably like shut up, but I don't know how to do that. So I'm just aware of it. So I gotta call the dentist and all that nonsense. Yeah, it's annoying. It's just like, because I have so many ailments, I just like kind of ignore things until my body is like, okay, you have to do something about this. Just because if I paid attention to every ailment, I would be at the doctor every damn day, and I ain't got time for that. I gotta have enough doctors as it is. So I got a family doctor, I have a cardiologist, I have an orthopedic doctor, I have a pain management doctor. Who else? I have a podiatrist. And that's just like off the top of my head. Oh, a neurologist. Yeah, that's just like off the top of my head. So, yeah, I noticed yesterday like pain in my jaw, and then I have swelling in my gum and this tooth down there. So, I'm gonna deal with it. I'm gonna go and do the adult thing and be a grown up for a minute. Like, ew, that don't even sound appealing to me. It's like I'm like one of the lost boys. I never grew up. I don't feel like you have to. It's like people grow up and forget that they're magic, and it's like, you know how like you can convince a kid anything is true because they just have so much more imagination. Like, I saw this one study where they like basically they had an animatronic toy that was talking back to the child, and the child's just like sitting there coloring, and the child believed that, you know, it's like, oh hey, this is, you know, a talking bear, this is normal, because children have the capacity to believe things more readily than adults do. And if something like that happened to an adult, they would be like, be gone, demon, and like punch it in the face or something, you know. But children have very active and vivid imaginations, and I never lost that. Like, I talk about it all the time. You know, there's this thing called aphantasia, which is basically like you can't imagine things in your mind's eye, and I have the opposite. Mine's like hyperphantasia, because like, so, you know, you watch a movie, right, and then you go back and think about it later, you picture it in your mind's eye. And I'll do that with books. I'll be like, what's that movie I watched the other day? And then I'm like, oh, it was a book I read. So books I read in my head are equivalent. I can see them just as easily as if I'm remembering a movie, because that's how I can paint a picture in my head easily. I easily paint pictures in my head, and that's why my writing is also so vivid. Like, that's why I'm such an imaginative poet. And, you know, I categorize things, and I'll take one subject and be like, well, what do I know about this subject? And then, you know, it goes from there. It's like all of my poems are just chain reactions, because it'll start like, I said I'll take it from the top and get to the bottom of it. That's a bar. I'll take it from the top and get to the bottom of it. Like I'm Captain Planet over here. Y'all remember Captain Planet? Captain Planet, he's our hero. Gonna put pollution down to 0. Something like that. Ignore my singing. But yeah, y'all remember Captain Planet? I used to love that shit. Like Captain Planet. Like, I feel like cartoons coming up in my generation were the best. Like, I was a Nickelodeon girl. Like, Real Monsters. Like, hello. And so I still believe that, like, you know, it's like in Toy Story, when they're not being observed. Like, I imagine that all my stuffed animals, when I was out of town, that they were just in here having a party. Because you don't know what something's doing when you're not observing it. And then people were like, well, what about on the camera? What if you have a camera recording something? Hello, that's also a form of observation. It's like Schrodinger's cat, right? Like, if there's a cat in a box, and like a nuclear ionizing radiation or something, whatever, and if you don't look, before you look in the box, the cat is both dead and alive. Ugh. The cat is in a superposition of being dead and alive at the same time, and it only falls into a fixed position when you watch it. It's just science. So I forgot where I was going with that, but oh yeah, but it's basically like, what you don't observe, you don't know what it's doing. Like, it's not even real until you observe it. My third eye line right here. You know, when I was younger, I used to always like think about how I look when I was older. And everyone has this obsession with looking younger. Like, people will post pictures on the internet and they'll be like, I'm 40, but I look 20. No, you don't. You just have good skin. Like, bone structure doesn't lie. I could not pass for a 20-year-old because my bone structure is not giving 20. Like, I like my skin looks good, but I do not look like a 20-year-old because a 20-year-old is one step away from a child. But the difference is you can have good skin and still look your age. Like, there's no way I could pass for a 20-year-old. Just because as you get older, your bone structure changes. You know, it's all about taking care of yourself. Like, I credit my looks to my life of sobriety. Because, one, alcohol ages you. Tobacco ages you. Smoking ages you. Like, imagine just keeping your face card. Yeah, put your face card around smoke for 20 years and see what happens. And that was one of the reasons I quit smoking weed. I was like, ooh, I don't like what it's doing to my face. It was yellowing my teeth. Like, not my pearly whites. Like, they went from pearly whites to crusty yellows. I'm like, we got to do something about that. So, you know, there is nothing wrong with looking your age. You can look your age and still look good. And not just good for your age. I don't want to hear, you look good for your age. No. It's, you look good or you don't. But everyone has this obsession with looking younger than they are. And then we look at celebrities and like, oh my God, they look so young. Because they done had about 50-11 facelifts. That's why. They don't have 50-11 facelifts. So you can't compare the way that you look to the way that celebrities look. And again, don't compare yourself to anybody other than your old self, because comparison is the thief of joy. I'm just sitting here chilling in my robe. And message retracted. I didn't even know you could do that. And, you know, I think about just sitting around chilling in my robe all day, and I'm like, well, judges do it and nobody looks at them sideways. Judges do it and nobody judges them. You know? I think about it like that. Like, I just sit around chilling in my robe all day, doing what I want, living a life of leisure. I feel like this is the way life's supposed to be lived, not out the hustle and bustle. Like, everybody talk about hustle culture, right? Everybody want to talk about hustle culture. Real hustle culture is making money in your sleep. Hustle culture is not having 2 jobs and 4 side hustles to survive. That's not hustling. That's hustling backwards. That's for real hustling backwards. If you have to do all that just to survive and not thrive, dang, my forehead look greasy from this angle. It's just a coconut oil. It's not all the way absorbed yet. But that is my secret I live by. You know, everyone likes to put these 50 step skincare routines on their YouTube. I'm like, you ain't even got to do all that. I live by coconut oil. So I have this like secret elixir that I do. It'll be like coconut oil, vitamin E oil, castor oil, and sweet almond oil. And I mix all of those together. And I put that all over my skin and body. It's great for my tattoos. Like, look how vibrant. It makes all my tattoos are very vibrant. And they have to be because they're colorful. Like, there's nothing worse than a faded color tattoo. That's like, ew, get away from here. But I do that, and then I'll do maybe a little hyaluronic acid serum, and then a moisturizer. It's not, you don't have to do, you know, 100 steps and, you know, make your skin look crazy. And everybody likes like this glass skin trend. I don't, you know, something about glass is breakable. My skin looks like real skin. You know, my skin looks like skin. It looks like how it's supposed to look. Again, I got a few little wrinkles starting. Golly, imagine my. Now this is disrespectful. When I pull my hair back, and tell me my forehead ain't that big. That's okay. I heard somebody say all pretty girls have big foreheads. And if that's the truth, golly, I'm like Megamind over here. Like, look at that gigantic. I got so much real estate right here. Like, I should charge somebody to put an ad on my forehead. Because, like, it goes from here all the way over here. Like, good grief. My face is like 75% forehead. But I don't know. I got, I got cheeks. I just got a big head. I got a big head. But that's okay because I got a big brain. Oh, speaking of big brain, right? So yesterday, I was FaceTiming my mom and my niece. And she was talking about her schoolwork, and then she has a story, and then she had to do an assignment on it. And then she ended up reading the story to me, and it was about, I forget what it was called. It's like a dystopian story where a kid growing up, he asked parents questions. He's curious, he's inquisitive. So one of the questions he asked is, why is grass green? And the dad goes, no one knows, it just is. And then he said, how far away is the sun? And he said 5,000 miles. Now, you know damn well that ain't true. We'd all be dead. But they're controlling the flow of information, and soon that becomes readily apparent why. So at the kid's birthday, I don't know what age it was, maybe 12 or something, they have a standardized testing. And in the testing, they go to this government educational building, right? And they tell the kid that he's going to take a test. And, they don't really give him much more information than that. But, you can tell the parents seem worried. And why would you be worried about your kid taking the test? Like, it's giving, something bad finna happen. And then, so they make the test in a way where it's like they give you basically a truth serum to drink. So they're going to give you something to drink, and it tastes like peppermint. And the kid, when he's doing it, he's like, well, it tasted more like buttermilk with a slightly pepperminty flavor, which, ew. Those two things don't go together. Right? And so and then they put a microphone up to his mouth. And it's like, how like in a lie detector test, like they can tell by the tone of your voice, all these things. So it's basically, they give you a truth serum where you have to tell the truth, and then they ask you questions, and they're like, follow this pattern. What number comes next? And it was like 1, 4, 7. Basically, it was like they were asking him to name the next prime number, and he didn't have a choice but to tell the truth because and his parents didn't prepare him. So his parents kind of wanted to protect him by controlling the flow of information he had, because being too smart in a world can be dangerous. And so then, he's doing the test, and then the next thing, his parents get a phone call that his child is dead. He was too smart, so they killed him. And then they ask if they wanted to have a government burial or like cremate him or something, or if they wanted to have a private burial. And it was a fee of $10 if they wanted the government to dispose of the body. And that was the end. And I'm like, the theorist in me is like, the school, they gave this to you? And she's like, yeah, I'm the only one that got it. And I'm like, I thought she was saying she's the only one that got it, like understood it. But I guess they gave out different stories to everyone in the class, and she's like, yeah, I think I'm the only one that got this. I'm like, girl. I was like, they telling on themselves. It's like that. I was like, if you go missing. And so I was like out helping her with her assignment, and she was asking what she was asking the questions about what was it, like, was it man versus man, man versus self, man versus society. And so I was helping her answer these questions, and I guess the way I answer it wouldn't be the way a middle schooler answered it. She's like, no middle schooler is going to say that. I was like, yeah, you're right. You can't sound too smart or else you're going to get got. And she's like, no middle schooler would say that. Excuse me? I was a very smart middle schooler. I was, my gifts manifested early. Like, I've always known, like, I've been a poet since I was a kid. I probably started writing about 7 or 8. I had stuff published when I was a child. Like, my mom used to submit my poetry, that raggedy ass bitch, because how dare you read what's mine and then submit it to other people without my permission. But my mom used to submit my poetry. She would read my journal take my poetry and then publish it. Like, she would submit it in contests and I would win. And I ended up getting published in some book where it's like, it was a national contest and they only chose like 50 people out of tens of thousands that entered, and I was one of the winners. So when I say that I have been proficient, more than proficient, talented with words since I was a child. So she's like, no child's gonna say that. I'm like, let me tell you something, little girl. I won the spelling bee every year in elementary school except for 5th grade. I was first runner-up. Still salty about that. But I remember one of the winning words was, almost my winning word, I had one word after that and I spelled it wrong, was delicatessen. DELICATESSEN. At 10 years old, I was spelling that. Like, I was always at a higher level of reading and reading comprehension and word usage than I had any right to be. And now, like, it shows. It's like, you know, imbalance your homeostasis, hypnotize your hypothalamus, paralysis, lost your balance with a gleaming apparatus. I use big words and I know what they mean. I know how to manipulate words. I'm a trickster. You know how I was talking about like the Fae lore and how they're tricksters with words? Hello. Right. I mean, these eyebrows are just giving me life. Like these things are so sharp they could cut glass. And this is not microblading. This is not filled in eyebrows. These are my natural eyebrows. All they did was take some off the top. And, you know, they look uneven if you look at them. Like, one looks higher than the other, but it's only because of my scoliosis. Like, if my neck is turned to the right, which it normally is, like, I generally, like, lean my head towards the right because, so my curve is to the left. So it curves to the left, but the left curvature means that my head tilts to the right. It's like, you know, you go around the left curve on the road, you have to turn your wheel to the right. That's me. And, you know, I feel like I was giving any obstacle that I've been given in life, it was given to me because I'm meant to overcome it. So that's why I don't be like, woe is me, why me? Why do I have all of these medical ailments? Well, they don't ail me. I don't let them. And I have before. I have given into the pain. Once you let the pain in, it takes over. Of course I'm in pain every day, but what am I going to do? Just sit here and cry about it? Be like, boo-hoo. I'm in a lot of pain and no one cares. God, this jaw is like it's giving go to the hospital. See, on this side, so it's kind of like you can kind of see the hollow right here. And of course this one sticks out too just because I have TMJ. Like, I don't have a normal, like, if my jaw was aligned the way it was supposed to, you wouldn't see these hollows right here. But they kind of give. So yeah, so back to the story. It's like, and she's like, she thought her teacher wrote it. And I'm like, girl. And so I like looked it up and I was like, and it's crazy to me that she's not utilizing Google, because I'm like, you're in the generation where you have a phone and you can just look something up. And she's like, that's cheating. Not if you don't tell nobody. Like, if I have, like, and I guess teachers have to be more vigilant now, because if ChatGPT was around, I would have had a Chat 4.0 GPA. Because I would have had it write every single paper for me. And then I would have substituted some of my own words. That way they couldn't have, they couldn't have accused me. But now teachers have to be vigilant because of technology. Like, yeah, cell phones were a thing back in my day, but cell phones where you could play like Tetris, you could play the worm game, you could play Minesweeper, you could text, you could call, that was it. We didn't have the capabilities that we have now. I couldn't, go live on YouTube. I predate YouTube. I remember when YouTube was invented. I remember when I predate social media. I remember when all of that came into fruition. Like I'm ancient as far as that. And I feel like me being a millennial, I am the only generation that truly understands. I was here for the before, the during, and the after the explosion of the internet, of social media. And now this generation, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, it's all they've ever known. So you can't even fault them for having to, feeling like if you didn't record it, did it even happen? Because that's all they've known. Gen Z, Gen Alpha, all if you didn't record it, it didn't even happen. And then we can't fault the kids for being kids. People be like, kids these days. Well, who you think raising motherfuckers? Y'all letting YouTube raise your kids, and then TikTok raise your kids, and be surprised that all they do is spend they all day TikTok, TikTok, TikTok. They spend all their TikToks on TikTok. TikTok has never. I have never made a TikTok. I downloaded the app because I was like, I might could post my poetry and shit on there, but again, that's just not my demographic. So I stick to YouTube. Now, maybe once I get to a point where my platform is large enough and I have a large enough following and I have reached monetization, like once you have a large enough following, that is the time to expand to other platforms, because chances are your followers are going to follow you over there. That's why they're called followers, because they follow you where you go. So right, so it's like you're either the follower or the leader. You know how they say follow the leader? I'm telling you, I have a wealth of knowledge and a knowledge of wealth. I put that in one of my poems. I saw you, my jaw. I so saw you, hutch. Just trying to give it a little love and attention and energy and ignore the pain. But it's I'm trying very hard to ignore the pain. I don't always go the route of pills first, but I was like, so I took an ibuprofen 800 because I have the prescription strength. I mean, I have stronger stuff, but I don't want to be a slave to a pill. Like I get the good stuff, you know what I'm saying? But I haven't taken one today. Like some people take a pill to be high. I wake up high on life. Like there's no pill that can make me feel as good as I do now, and whatever it makes me feel is artificial. So you have like artificial intelligence. This is like artificial happiness, like because your brain gets flooded with dopamine, and it gives you this surge of energy. It makes you more sociable. It makes you want to call and talk everybody's head off. And I can take mine like twice a day. I've been to the point where my doctor is like, well, do you want to go up to taking pills 3 times a day? And I said no. I said, I'm sure it will come to that eventually, but I don't want to be a slave to a pill. Like, even though I am in pain most of the time, that's not going to take it away. Pain pills make your brain feel like your body isn't in pain, but the pain is still there. And so then you get up, you're doing too much, you've overextended your body, and then once that pill wears off, it's like they're like energy pills, but they're artificial, because then if you don't have them, if you don't take one, then it's like you're in a deficit. So it's like a pendulum swinging from one end to the other. And even though I do take, pain meds, I'm not addicted to them. I talk about it a lot. A pill is inert until you put it in your body. And I still consider myself sober, even though I have access to narcotics because I don't take them for anything other than the purpose intended. You know, I don't take pills and get high because it's not something that appeals to me, and I do it for like pain relief purposes. Hi, hey, hello, good morning. Whatever time it is where you're from, good day. Okay, I see. Hi, hi. Yes, say it one more time so I know it's real. But I don't take pills for the purpose of getting a head change. I take them when I like, and a pill is always my last resort option. Like, I'll do something like, I have ice packs, I have heating pads, I have lidocaine patches, I have a roll-on lidocaine. Oh, good idea. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do my roll. Oh gosh, I can't get up. I've fallen and I can't get up. I actually have a roll-on lidocaine. Let me put that on my jaw. Good idea. So, okay. Yes, it's me in my robe. Okay, gonna use this as a mirror. Effects. Don't be showing me no fucking effects. I don't care. I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier, but yeah, it's just like this whole ball right here. And that's another thing I don't do, is like, social media has conditioned us to think that we're ugly without filters. So for instance, okay, so let's just try this. Makeup. Ugh. So this has an effect. I can do makeup. You see? You see how crazy I look? I don't know how to take it off. Fuck. Ooh. I don't know how I got to where I was at. But do you see how crazy I look right now? Oh, and they have this thing called retouch. Like, I don't know how to get back to, I don't know how to take this shit off. Oops. Not playable. See, and there's too many options here. Heavens. Ah, there we go. Ew. So, there are so many options that you can do. Oh no, lighting on. Okay, where did that thing go? Retouch. This has retouch on, retouch off. I can't even tell the difference. But there are so many. A 49-second short was, I don't even know. Too many buttons. Green screen. Like, you can be on any platform and what you're showing to the world is something that doesn't even exist. You know, they have, especially since AI, they have these, like, you can create like a baddie, right? You can create a baddie. Like, I'm talking about, you got one of these Bratz looking dolls that everybody likes looking like now, right? And you put her in a little bikini. And then you create an Instagram page for her. And next thing you know, you getting paid for something fake. And that's a hustle. That is smart. That's smart to capitalize on something that men want. Capital on something men want. And get paid for it. Like, I've seen those fake AI profiles. And it'd be like, the bitch of your dreams. And then it's just a woman living, like, it's just a random woman like me who's like, yeah, I'm about to make some money off these fools. Because it's not even about who you are, it's about what you look like. On social media, everything that you do is contingent upon how you look. And if you ugly, if you're an uggo, you're probably not going to get there very far. But I actually really like those people who may not be conventionally or traditionally attractive, but they lean into it. It's like, y'all can't call me a fat ass bitch because I know I'm a fat ass bitch and I look like this. Like, if you lean into a stereotype, whatever people are going to say about you, you take that power away from them. It's like, you know how many times I done got a fat bitch? Somebody was trying to call me fat. Somebody told me I need to lose weight the other day. They're like, you look like you have about 40% body fat. You look like you have 0% brain. And it'll be the ones hiding behind a keyboard that have no pictures up. And it's like, I ain't arguing with nobody that ain't got a picture up, because I already know you ugly. UGLY, you ain't got no alibi. Whereas me, what you see is what you get. Okay, I don't wear makeup anymore. I am more mindful now about who I'm willing to give my money to. I'm more intentional about it. Like, I'm not one to give money to the beauty industry. There are a few brands that I rock with, but the beauty industry as a whole is a scam. You know, they're like, well, this is gonna make your pores, this is gonna reduce the size of your pores. No, it ain't. They don't open and close. They're there for a job. They're doing their purpose. Pores are what, a porous surface. That's like taking a sponge and saying, we're gonna reduce your pores. It's a porous surface for a reason. You're supposed to have pores. And because of filters and AI, we have now convinced ourselves that skin ain't supposed to look like skin. Because you're supposed to be blurred. You're supposed to be filtered. You're like, when I was hanging out with this bitch I just cut off, she would not take a picture without a filter. Baby, you ugly. I'm sorry. You ugly. If you can't take a picture without a filter, and it's anybody can be a catfish these days. You're a catfish. It's like the overall structure of her face isn't bad, and she does look really pretty when she has the filter on, but her skin, like, she has like natural raccoon eyes. She has dark circles under her eyes. She smokes, she drinks, she doesn't take care of herself. And it shows. She's younger than me and she looks older than me. It's like, ugh, ma'am. And that's another reason I tout sobriety, because it's like, are you trying to look, 50 or 30? And people don't realize how much that stuff ages you. Because, think about it. Alcohol, what does it do? What's one of the things it does? There's a lot of things. I talk about the spiritual effects, so let's talk about the physical effects. Why do you wake up with a hangover? Alcohol is, first of all, it's a depressant. It is dehydrating. It saps your energy. So think about it. How do you put something in your body, right? Like, this is nourishing. But if you drink the same amount of alcohol, which is also a liquid, it is not nourishing you. It is taking from your nourishment. It's sapping you of your energy. It's called a depressant for a reason. And because it gives you like that initial dopamine hit, it's like nothing will feel as good as the first drink does. And then it's like that, that burn of it going down your throat, right? That little like, ooh, what's gonna happen tonight? I'm like, ooh, that girl's cute. Let me go talk to her. That initial dopamine hit is the best out of the first drink, right? Because then after that, you find yourself chasing the dragon. Chasing, right? You chasing your liquor, right? And then you drink all night. And then this is why you find people passed out on the lawn. Because you think it's giving you energy, but it's like, it's not. So the whole point of what it does to your skin, it dehydrates you. How can you look good? Like, I noticed that when I used to drink, I would wake up the next day and I would have these huge bags under my eyes. Like, if I drink the next day, I look older. And I started noticing that. And I'm like, what kind of shit is this? What kind of black magic fuckery is this? I was like, oh no, baby, what is we doing? And then smoke, I mean, obviously it can kill you, it can give you cancer, but it ages you. And because this bitch smokes and she drinks, she smokes cigarettes, she smokes weed, she smokes hookah, she drinks, and and I imbibed, I partook. I smoked weed with her, and it was the first time I smoked weed in years. And as I was high, I was like, I don't like this. I was like, I don't like smoking weed. I don't like doing this. And I did it a couple more times just to make sure I really hated it. And I'm like, yeah. So now I come back here to New York where access to weed is very abundant. And there's a smoke shop right here on my corner. But I'm not about to take my green and smoke it. When I smoked, I was smoking on somebody else's green. I'm smoking somebody else's grass. What am I cut my grass for? But I just don't enjoy it anymore. And my reasons for being sober are mostly health reasons. Well, I would say it's dual nature. It's part health, part spiritual, part physical health, part spiritual health. Because you know how they call alcohol spirits, and tell you why they call it that is because back in the day, people would act like they were possessed by spirits. It's like they ain't that's still something that lingers to this day. And I put it in a poem. They asked me why I don't imbibe spirits. I said, why would I invite spirits? So it's like you are inviting yourself to be possessed. You ever see somebody act a way drunk that they would never act sober? Possessed by spirits. Come on now, words are important. And it lowers your frequency. It lowers your vibration. Because these are very base level things. So any substance, smoking, drinking, alcohol, even sex, because these are all physical. They're very base. And, there can be a time to come down. I'm not saying never do it. But know what you're doing. Know what you're putting in your body. Know what it's doing to your energy level. Know what it's doing to your frequency. Right? These things typically lower your frequency. Now, if you're having some champagne at the top of Mount Everest because you just made $500 billion, go ahead with your bad self. But if you're just drinking to escape the matrix, or smoking weed to escape the matrix, like I see so many, like I was on Threads the other day and I see so many people. This one person's like, why do people assume that stoners are lazy and unproductive? It's like saying, why does alcohol make me sleepy and depressed? Because it's a depressant. And weed is like a blend between, weed to me is like a mind stimulant and a bodily depressant. I want to smoke weed and do nothing, right? But eat. Hungry, sleepy, happy. Remember Cat Williams? Hungry, sleepy, happy. These are the effects of weed. And then, or that would be like saying, why does LSD make me have these psychedelic mind trips? You're asking stupid questions. Or people will be like, as a neurodivergent person, I'm not smoking weed to get high. I'm just blurring the edges of reality. Okay, do what you want. Do what you want, but if you feel like you have to defend yourself to other people, it's like their words have gotten to you, because it's like, why do people say that? Why do you care why people say that? You do you, boo. Don't give a fuck what nobody got to say. I told one person that, and they're like, should I do this or should I do that? I said, stop asking for advice and do what you want. And he's like, you know what? I want to be mad at you, but I can't. And I'm like, you're welcome. Stop waiting for other people's permission to do what you want. Stop giving a fuck about other people's opinions and be like, is it okay if I do this? Like, I see people would be like, I had to ask ChatGPT a question today, and the question they ask is like, how do I make a pot of coffee? So I noticed a lot of times when people say that they use AI, they're asking it questions. I have never used AI to ask a question. I use AI sparingly. So usually if I'm using AI, I use AI for images. So I will like put a poem, one of my poems in there, and I'll be like, create an image that goes along with this poem, put that in the background, and then put the words to the poem in the foreground. But you notice I don't ask it what to do, I tell it what to do. Like, there's a difference in asking and telling. Asking implies the option to say no. Telling does not. It's like, you know how in English they teach you certain words, like, if you say this is a command, right? If you say something in an authoritative and an assertive way, it is a command, right? Like a commandment. Ooh, we're getting somewhere again, right? So asking implies that there's a choice. So instead of being like, hey, how do I do this? How? You're asking it for something versus commanding that it give you whatever knowledge it holds. And it's also, creating a file on you and compiling. It's, you know how AI learns from what we do. So it learns more and more about you every time you use it. And so I don't give it that much information about me to be used against me, because knowledge is power. The only thing that I could ever possibly be worried about was, if somebody tried to take my work and, portray it as their own. It's like, well, do I still have the rights to my stuff, being that I use their service for XYZ, and all of my stuff, everything is patented to you, like it's copyrighted, it's trademarked. And being that I write on my phone first before I write in, physical world, being that I do my writing there first, there is a backlog. Like, it shows when I did something. It shows when I wrote something. So there can never be any doubt that my works are original. And honestly, that was why I was hesitant to start posting stuff online. Like, when I would first start reciting my poetry on here, I didn't put the lyrics because I didn't put the actual poem. It would just be word of mouth, because I knew that people would want to portray it as their own, or they would take one of my lines and then try to do some dumb shit with it. But then, so that's what the bars playlist is. That's just, that's just me. But then I'm like, you know what? I still have, nobody can play off my shit as being there, so you can't. So I made a new playlist called Bars 2.0, and that was where I started posting. So those are where I recite my poems, where I spit my poems, and then I also, in the description, I have the written format of it. Because let me find out somebody's trying to play my shit off as their own. I'm gonna drag you to hell as the train derails, and you gonna wonder how your life got so far off track. And that was the last line in a poem I wrote. What was the line before that? Think you had your fill of me, but your thoughts are filled with me. My influence is a raging attack. I'll drag you to hell as the train derails. You wonder how your life got so far off track. And I'm sick with it. And I'm like, that's why So my energy when I perform is the total opposite of my energy when I'm just like, right now I'm pretty like monotone, just nonchalant. But let me get fired up. And that's why like fire is my sign. That's why I have flames on my arm. Like I'm a fire sign and fire is my sign because I'm such a passionate person. But when I get like fired up, like watch out. And I think that's about it. I've been on here about an hour. That's about my threshold. I'm gonna rest my jaw. Might do a face mask or something, some self-care item. Might write in my journal. Dude, just do a little something, you know? Just me vibing and thriving. So catch me next time. Catch me outside. How about that?